Back in October 2015, LG released the first device that started the V series line of smartphones. Pretty much a redesigned LG G4 released earlier that year, but with a more rugged, more industrial look. Today, we're going back to where it all began with the LG V10. Let's get down into it. The LG V10 was the first device to start the all-new V series of smartphones from LG. The V series differs from the G series by focusing more on video and audio capabilities, especially when shooting video and taking photos. The LG V10 was one of the first smartphones to offer these powerful features. The V10 also offered a headphone jack with the 32-bit hi-fi DAC for high-quality audio listening experience. Although there are no stereo speakers, there was only one bottom firing speaker, which actually sounds decent. So let's go ahead and take a listen of that speaker right now. So what did you guys think of that speaker? It sounds okay, especially for being a mono speaker. Holding the smartphone and setting it up definitely took me back to 2015. I had the V10 before I even started this channel, with the LG V20 being the first device showcased here on Sick Eric Tech. To my surprise, everything still worked. Sure, the battery took forever to charge. 18-watt charging with a micro USB cable probably didn't help the situation either. Luckily, back in the day, you could swap out the 3000 mAh battery in under 5 seconds if you had an extra battery charged and ready to go. Although battery life isn't the greatest, not even getting you close through a full day of usage without having to charge it. The V10 came with a premium build, MIL STD810G compliant with stainless steel rails and a DuraSkin and DuraGuard coating is what LG was calling it. Very, very nice and premium build at the time. This device is literally built like a tank, not feeling too heavy, coming in about 6.77 ounces. But just like the LG V60, you could throw this phone at somebody and seriously injure them. The V10 was definitely a unique and beautiful device at the time. Hey, remember buttons on the back? The power button along with the fingerprint sensor and the volume buttons were located on the rear of the device, which was pretty cool coming back to. The design is definitely dated with this 16:9 aspect ratio and large forehead and large bottom chin. Definitely an outdated device. The LG V10 came with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 processor with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage that was expandable through microSD card. It also came running with Android 5.1.1 out of the box, with the last update ending with Android 7, sadly. I'm sure the V10 was a fast powerhouse back in the day when it came down to performance, but that's not the case today. Apps have a little delay when launching and the device tends to stutter every now and then. Some apps aren't even supported, like Amazon Shopping, but that's to be expected. Other than that, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4G signal, and NFC still works. It's amazing. Another innovation LG included was a second display up top for notifications, toggles, and shortcuts. Also acting as an always-on display. I'd never seen anything like this before. And while it was cool, it wasn't perfect. The second display was too up high on the phone. The V10 was already a massive device, and having to reach all the way up for notifications was a challenge for some people. Nonetheless, it was customizable and pretty cool at the time. Speaking of the display, the LG V10 came with a 5.7-inch IPS LCD display with a resolution of 1440 by 2560. Covered with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. Considering how old this device is, it's held up pretty well with quite a few scratches on the display but nothing too serious, with the rest of the device in nearly perfect condition. The second display is a 2.1-inch with a resolution of 160 by 1040. Despite being an LCD and a 60Hz panel, this display was actually pretty good. Most smartphones nowadays only come with a 1080p panel on their displays. Colors are nice, but with a little bit of a light bleeding up top. The V10 definitely is a dinosaur device that still holds a bit of nostalgia with me today. Now going on over to the very dated part of the V10, and that's the cameras. One camera on the rear before LG themselves gave us ultra-wide sensors, and two cameras on the front. The rear camera is a 16 megapixel with an aperture of f1.8 with laser autofocus and optical image stabilization. It can record up to 4K 30 frames per second. The two front cameras are 5 megapixels, one being your main sensor and the other being an ultra-wide, and that can record up to 1080p. Now back then, these cameras were probably one of the best, taking really nice shots and video. Compared to smartphones today, photos come out soft but natural and definitely fall apart at night, being blurry. The 4K video during the day is still actually pretty decent, although shadows can be really dark and highlights blown out in auto mode. Luckily, you are able to adjust all of that with manual video mode and manual camera mode. Yes, in 2015, LG had these features that are still found on smartphones today. With that being said, the cameras are a little dated but usable. You tell me, how are the photos taken on the LG V10 compared to something like the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5? Let's take a look. And I also forget how bad the cameras were back in the day. In 2015, the LG V10 can do full HD on the front, and you also have the option to do the wide angle video on the front as well. This is regular angle for the main sensor on here, and you can also do wide angle front facing video capped out at 1080p. How does this look? Yeah, it looks okay, but yeah, cameras back then were just not the greatest. So what do you guys think of the photos taken on the LG V10? I think they still hold up okay. Can be a little bit blurry sometimes, but still, these are very old cameras. To this day, people still stand by LG smartphones and their cameras, saying they take the best photos, especially devices like the LG V60. Sadly, LG no longer makes smartphones, but we will always have devices such as the LG V60, the LG G8, the Velvet, the Wing, and of course the LG V10 to remind us all how great LG was and how much innovation they brought to all smartphones today. The LG V10 was where the V series first started, and the V60 was where it all ended. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Comment down below if you want to see a comparison video between the old LG V10 and the last LG V60 to see the differences. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time here on Sick Eric Tech. Peace!